And now we're going to learn about how to find the missing angle in triangles. The first question that we have over here is just a normal triangle that has three angles, but the most important information that we need to know before learning how to find the missing angle that we have over here, which is y, they need us to find y. The most important information that we need to know is that the sum, which means the answer of addition, which means adding the three angles of any triangle in the world gives us 180 degrees. So a triangle is 180 degrees exactly, no matter how it looks, no matter how big each angle is, just the sum of the three angles is 180 degrees. So here, if I have two angles, as all of us know, just a triangle has three angles. If I know two of them, is it easy to find the third? Yes, of course it is easy. So if I have the first angle here, which is 20, and the other angle, which is 85, the only thing that we need to do is just we add the two angles that we have up, just add them up, and then subtract the answer from 180. Like here exactly. You just need to add 85 plus 20. So 85 plus 20 is 105. Then the answer that we have over here, we subtract it from the total, which is 180. So I take 180 minus 105. And please, it's not 105 minus 180 because it's going to be wrong. Please, it's 180 big minus small. 180 minus 105, which is 75 degrees. So y is exactly 75 degrees. All right. In the second question that we have over here, how can we find x? All right, Mr. Ahmed, here in the first question you told us that we have two angles and we need to find the third, but here we have only one angle and we don't know the other one over here, and you want to know the third one. How can we find x? Okay, but he has given you here just a piece of information that we should use. He has given you a straight line, which what we call supplementary angle, a straight line. And he told you that part of it is just 90 degrees. So what is the other part? Well, we know that a straight angle is 180 degrees. Sorry for my bad handwriting, I'm just using the mouse. So here we all that all of this is 180 degrees. Part of it is 90. So what is the other part? Exactly all we need to do is just 180 minus 90, which will give you 90. So all what we need to do to find the missing part over here, it just happens that both of them have the same size, but it doesn't work this way all the time. Because some of you might say, oh, this is 90 degrees, because this is just 90 degrees. No, it's 180 minus the angle that we have will give you this, which says that it is also a right angle. Then we just do 90 plus 45. Now I have two angles, I need to find the third, exactly like the first triangle here. So 90 plus 45 equals 135. You subtract the answer they have here, which is 135, from 180, gives you 45. All right, question number 3 here. If they want y, it's almost the same way exactly, but this is not a right angle. But here they want y and we have only one interior angle. We need to find the second one. We need to find this. We need to find this. How can we find it? Well, the same thing exactly. He has given you here a straight angle, which is, as we agreed, 180 degrees. A straight angle is just always 180 degrees. We know that all of this plus this is 180 degrees. Good. Then, how can we find this angle that is missing here? It's 180 minus 135. Exactly like what we did here. 180 minus 90 it gives us 90. Here, 180 minus 135 is going to give us exactly 45. 45 degrees. Sorry again for my bad handwriting. This is 45, not 46. 45 degrees. Now we know this angle, this one here, we know it. And we know this angle, which is 40. How can we find y? The same way exactly. Add them up. 40 plus 45, which will give us here 85. And then we subtract 85 from 180, gives us 95. So y is 95. All right, the last question that we have here, he has given you 35 and he's given you 50 and they want x. All right, this is very easy. We have two angles. We're going to add them up to give us 85. All right, then we take 85 away from 180 to give us 95. So x is 95 degrees. What about y? They want y. It's the same way that we did here in question number 3 and question number 2, the same way exactly. We're just going to subtract from 180 because it's a straight angle. All of this is just a straight angle. We need to take away from the 180 degrees. From the 180 degrees, we need to take away 50, which is going to be 130 degrees. So y is just 130 degrees. All right, now we're going to take the difference between AM and PM. You took this, I guess, in year 3, but you might find it in the checkpoint exam. That's normal, and it comes also a lot. And many questions actually about time comes in the midterm exam, in the checkpoint exam. So here, how can we differentiate between the PM and AM? Very, very quickly, all what we need to do is just splitting the day into 2 halves. And each half is 12 hours. Each half is just 12 hours. One half is going to be after midnight. So 12 happens twice in a day. 12 happens twice in a day. The first time when it is midnight, and this is when the day begins. So the day starts at 12 midnight, and this is what we call AM. So the day starts when it's 12 AM, and 12 AM is 12 midnight. All right, and 12 noon is 12 p.m. Okay, let's go back to splitting the day into 2 halves. When we said 12 midnight, this is how the day starts, and the coming 12 hours from 12 midnight, when it's really dark, the coming 12 hours, oh look at that, here when it's 4, you must probably still asleep, and here is 5, when it's al-Fajr, and then it's 6 in the morning, and this is most probably the time you wake up. All of this is still just AM, and here is 7, still AM, 8, still AM, 9, still AM, and here 10, when you most probably just start taking your first break, is still 10 AM. Here is 11, which is still AM, and here the time ends. Not the time ends, sorry, I mean like when it becomes 12 here, the coming 12, now the first 12 hours of the day are over, which is AM is over. Once it's 12 noon, which is a Dhuhr time, once it's 12 noon, we call it PM. So 12 PM, this is noon. When you are at school, it's 12 noon. And then the other 12 hours that we have from 12 noon until 12 midnight, they're just called they're just called PM. So here is 1 PM. You must probably have a lesson at school. Then 3 still PM. This is the time your parents come to pick you up, or the time you take the bus to go home. Then it's 5, it's still PM. Most probably maybe this is the time you go to the club, or you're just doing the homework. It's 5 PM. I don't think that any of you guys wake up at 5 AM, which is after midnight, which is in Fajr time, just to do the homework. No, all of you do the homework maybe between 4 and 8 or 4 and 9 PM. So then you just go to bed maybe at 9, still PM, and then you might just wake up at night just to have a little thing to eat. Doesn't usually happen, but if you get hungry in the middle of the night, you will wake up maybe at 3 AM, which is after midnight, and so on. Well, so here let's answer together these 4 questions. If I have here Jane, and the first sentence here says, Jane wakes up in the morning at what time? She wakes up in the morning at 7:25 AM or 7:25 PM. Exactly, in the morning is just in the 12 hours that are after midnight. It's still not noon yet. It's between midnight and noon. Between midnight and noon is just 7:25 AM. And Michael goes to the mall at, of course it's not 4 AM. 4 AM is just in Fajr time. It's after midnight. So it's 4 PM. And Adam prays Dhuhr at, it's noon, it's afternoon actually. It's not 1 AM, 1 AM is after midnight, it's 1 PM. And the last question over here, Jason goes to the club at, does he go to the club at 2:30 AM? Even if you do, guys, please, this is not normal, but if we're just talking about the general, or what usually happens with people is that they go to the club maybe afternoon, which is 12:30 PM. The next lesson here is about converting between 12-hour clock and the 24-hour clock. The 12-hour clock is divided also into 2 halves, AM and PM. In the 12-hour clock AM, the day starts at 12 AM, which is 12 midnight. This is when the day starts. But the 24-hour clock, the day starts when it's midnight. It is 0, 0, 0, 0, as you see over here, just so the time starts this way exactly on the 24-hour clock. You don't really, it's just for you guys to understand how it works, but all what you need to know is that AM, which is after midnight, between midnight and noon, as we agreed in the previous slide, we agreed that when it's 1 AM, it's just it's going to stay the same, the 24-hour clock. So 1 AM stays the same to be 1. 2 AM stays the same to be 2 in the 24-hour clock. So 3 AM stays the same to be 3 in the 24-hour clock. 10 AM stays also 10 when it's 24-hour clock. The 24-hour clock, we don't use AM or PM. They are different, they have different numbers. But here in the 12-hour clock PM, we must use PM to say that it's afternoon. So 1 PM, we add to it 12. 1 PM is going to be 13 o'clock in the 24-hour clock. This is when it's PM only. So AM stays the same, PM, we add to it 12. So 1 becomes 13. 6 added to 12 becomes 18. 9 becomes 21. And so on. So to sum up, here it just says from 12-hour clock to 24-hour clock, the AM stays the same, PM we add 12 hours. Again, if you want to convert from AM, from 12-hour clock, from 12-hour clock, which is this, if you just want to convert from 12-hour clock to 24-hour clock, if it's AM, it stays the same. See, everything here just stays the same. Nothing changes. 1 is 1, 3 is 3. If it's PM, we add 12. 3 becomes 15. 9 becomes 21. The minutes stay the same, just only the hours change. All right, mister, what about if I want to do the opposite? If I want to convert from 24-hour clock to 12-hour clock? No problem. If the numbers are less than 12, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, just they stay the same, they remain the same. So for example here, as you see here, it says if it's less than 12, it stays the same, which means here in the AM, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 11 o'clock. If it's 11 o'clock, then it's just 11 AM. But if it gets more than 12, or 12 is just like here, for example, it's 13, 15, 16, 17, you just need to take away 12. You need to take away 12 to convert it back to the 12-hour clock. All right, let's practice this more. If it is confusing, it's going to be clearer when we start practicing. All right, 3:45 p.m. How can we convert it into 24-hour clock? Well, we said if it's p.m. in the 12-hour clock and we want it to be converted into the 24-hour clock, we just add to it 12. We add 12. We said if it's p.m., look at that, it's written over here, from 12-hour clock to 24-hour clock. If it's p.m., add 12 hours. So 3 adding to 12 is going to be 15, and the minutes stays the same, so it's 15:45. Just 15:45. Let's check this here. 15:45. All right, if it's 8:45 a.m., and we want to convert into 24-hour clock, it says here AM stays the same. AM stays the same, so it's going to be 8:45. Again, AM stays the same. PM into 24-hour clock, just add 12 to it, which becomes 15:45. 2:15 AM. Well, AM from 12-hour clock to 24-hour clock stays the same, 2:15. 1:12 PM, add 12, becomes 13:12. All right, here the last 4 questions are from 24-hour clock to 12-hour clock. From 24-hour clock to 12-hour clock, if the numbers that we have in the hours is less than 12, it stays the same, and we just put AM. If the numbers that we have here in the hours are more than 12, it just means that you need to take away 12, and you write PM. Here 20 is of course more than 12, then it's definitely going to be PM. Take away 12 is 8:12. When you take away 12 from 20, it becomes 8. So it becomes 8:12, and it's PM. Oh, sorry, I forgot to write here PM, but you must write PM. The same thing here, 16:20. 16:20 just means that it is PM. It's definitely PM. If it was AM, it would have been less than 12. But 16:20 is definitely PM. So we're going to take away 12 to make it 4:20. And here 2:25, oh, it's less than 12, so it's definitely AM. So 2:25 is going to be the same. 5:30 here, when you take away from 5:30, if you look at 5:30, you're going to find that it's less than 12. Less than 12, then we do nothing to it. Sorry guys about the noise. 5:30 is going to stay the same because it's less than 12, which means that it's AM.